Day one still at Paris Airshow, and ABN is now at the Deutsche Aircraft sort of simulator, I guess. We're in the mock-up of the new aircraft, which is coming on stream, and I've just been shown a simulation demo on Apple goggles, or whatever they're called, of what it would look like in real life. I'm joined by Nico Neumann. There's an aircraft flying around ahead of us, so there's a bit of noise in the background, but that's what the airshow is all about. But Nico is the CEO and MD of Deutsche Aircraft. Nico, thanks for joining us. I know you're busy, so we've grabbed you for sort of 10, 15 minutes to talk about where we are with this new aircraft. So I know in a couple of weeks back, we had our own Greg Whittaker in Germany for the rollout of the test aircraft. So that was a big moment. How does it feel to get to that stage, and what's coming next?
First of all, thanks for having me. So, I mean, the TAC 1 rollout was a very emotional moment for all of us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work behind, a lot of collaboration with different partners. So it was the first time when you could see from a paper aircraft to really touching some metal and getting tangible.
Yeah.
So it was a great event for us, for the supply chain, which gave also a lot of trust and team spirit back to the whole market. So I think everybody is recognized now that program is real. We are delivering, and we are on a clear path for certification.
Yeah. So it's key to get your hands on something solid, especially when you've been working on it for so long. What's the next stage we should look forward to?
Next stage is now to get all the systems in the first test aircraft with the power on by the end of the year, and 26 is then our test flight year.
Yeah.
So we are getting the first aircraft into the air. Also the second test aircraft 2 is in preparation as we speak. Will be the second test aircraft following then in 26, and then we have the final assembly line coming up end of the year.
Yep.
So we are starting in the final assembly line next year. So a lot of exciting stuff is coming next year together, and it's really, as I said, the activity is mainly about flight testing.
Yeah. Before we started, you said, look, don't press me on a time when we're going to get this thing flying in the air, because you don't talk of that in that sense. It's got to be safety first, and you'll only do it when it's absolutely right to do it, and that's absolutely the right thing to do, especially in the current climate. But you will say that 26 will be your test year. So I think it's fair to say there's a lot of anticipation for this aircraft, and the market is ready for it.
Maybe I'd like to add, which a lot of people don't know, you spoke a lot about 3D, about the simulations, the experience center here. We have test flying the aircraft already today. So we have a simulator up and running with all the test benches, interfaces. So we are already in collaboration with the authorities for the certification. We do the test flight, the human interface test that is already ongoing. But for sure, you're more interested in the real flying. Real flying is really 26, and we are on track for that.
Yeah, that's interesting today. With technology, you can do these pre-actual flying tests now, and they're just as good and just as useful for certification and testing.
You can de-risk on one side.
Yeah.
So you de-risk your flight test campaign because you have simulated everything, and then you just need to confirm that your simulation is then confirmed by the real test flying. So the risk reduction, also the schedule impact is great.
Yeah. Just talk us a little bit about the market that this aircraft will enter into. The regional flying market, where we think aviation in general is, the demand is certainly there, and there seems to be no problems on that side. It's more the supply side that the industry is struggling with. So just talk us a little bit about the market you feel this aircraft is entering, and sort of the optimism you've got for it being a really popular choice among airlines.
So when I speak about the market, I always speak about 3 segments.
Yeah.
So one is a classical replacement market. So it's a niche market. Today we have in that sub 50-seater market, we have aircraft like the Saab 340, Dash 100, 200, all aircraft out of production. The average age is 30 years plus, so they need a replacement. That is one market we are targeting with the 328 Echo, offering the regional market a more economic, viable option for that route. That is one area. The second area is the growth markets. You speak about India, for example, Asia in general. Yeah. It's a big growth market. India, average age of people, 27 years. Mm-hmm. They have the Udan scheme where they like to connect the rest of India. To make that happen, they need aircraft of that type. So that's the second area. And then the third area is all the multi-mission segment. So due to the geopolitical situation, like border control, like special forces, and so is in need of that kind of aircraft. So that are our 3 pillars, which, as you're right, it's a great market opportunity.
Yeah, you just look at a market like India, just look at India alone, the amount of the plans they've got in place to grow the aviation market. Someone was saying earlier, the country has gone from 4 international airports to 40 in almost like a blink of an eye. So, but that actually just underneath that is all the regional connectivity which they're planning. So there's huge amounts of potential growth there, I'm sure.
I cannot agree more. And as you see, I mean, the big hubs which everybody's recognizing, they're already very connected with single layers. You speak about Bombay, you speak about Bangalore, Chennai, and so they're all connected.
Yeah.
What we are looking at is the rest of India. So really the backland, which is not connected at the moment, but there's an aspiration to get also part of that infrastructure. So that is where we look.
And that is one country. We're sat in a mock-up of the aircraft. Just talk to us about what this particular aircraft brings to the market, which is innovative, different, which will really excite people.
So first of all, it is based on the DNA of the Doni Suite Light. I think it was already a very advanced aircraft we are building on. So we have stretched the aircraft by 2.1 meters to get it to 40 pax. We are coming, I think we are just a pleasure to have a look to the new avionics. We're coming with a brand new avionics suite, the Garmin 5000 Prime. So we
just announced. That was just
the launch customer for that setup. I mean, it's like using an iPad. It is so easy to interface with the system. Now I have an avionic background. I can say it's so much simplified. So the pilot awareness is much higher.
Yeah.
So the operational flexibility is higher because the interface, the operational architecture, and the maintenance costs are significantly lower.
Okay.
That is all what a regional operator cares about. Another area where we have improved and updated is the propulsion system. So we are going with a new propulsion system together with Pratt & Whitney Canada.
Yeah.
So PV127 XTS. The S stands for that we have certified and will certify that aircraft to 100% synthetic fuel without aero miles.
Okay. So I was going to say sustainability is one of the big key things that every aviation company is striving towards. So obviously the powertrain is the key to that. So this will I'm sure be the most sustainable regional aircraft in the skies when it does go into manufacturing.
And on top of what a lot of people doesn't know is just the fact, if you compare that with a regional jet, that aircraft can fly 30 to 40% more efficient than a regional jet same size, just by the propulsion technology. So alone that is a big saving.
Yeah. I know there's a push. I've seen some, I think 2 years ago, there was a launch of a regional electric propulsion jet. I think it was called Maeve. I'm not sure what's gone on there, but so there's a feeling that propulsion could change dramatically in this sector. Do you see that, or do you think actually we're going to be sticking with traditional propulsion?
There is a reason why we have selected the 328 Eco more traditional system based on sustainable aviation fuel. We have an advanced design team. We looked in all that new technologies and batteries and hydrogen. Batteries is still a big weight issue, but also an infrastructure issue. Thinking about the grid, getting the power to recharge things. We don't see that is practical for that size of aircraft. On the hydrogen, we have a bit of the same problem. It's a technology problem still. The technology is not there from the maturity, but also the infrastructure is not there at the airports. And the regional market is a sensitive market, also from a price point of view. So getting the highest complexity to the most price-sensitive market seems like a challenge.
Yeah. It's the infrastructure problem, isn't it? Because the amount of capital needed to invest in that is huge, and the industry finds that hard to find. So if you can use new fuels but with the traditional infrastructure, that's probably the win-win.
I think you have other challenges everybody's aware of. Hydrogen needs just more volume. So the aircraft needs to be bigger. Bigger means more weight. More weight means you need more energy at the end to keep it in the air. So it's all together. I think our approach with the synthetic aviation fuel makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Before we finish, it's the Paris Air Show, as you said. It's day one. I feel it's busy. Yeah, it is busy. I mean, compared to 2 years ago, it's super busy. It's also hot as usual, and that's Paris for you. But how's it been going for you so far today? Back-to-back meetings, I'm sure. What's the sense? What's the feeling?
I have to say I've had a perfect start. I mean, this announcement on a Sunday that we go for the Garmin 5000 Prime. What better start could you imagine? First of all, and so far, meeting on meeting, good discussions, very high interest on the aircraft, on the performance of the aircraft. So I'm really looking positive for the next 4 days. Yeah,
and in general sense for aviation, you feel there's a positive mood out there. I know there's been a very serious incident recently, which will have affected everybody. But what's the overall feeling? Do you think? I think it's a sense of positivity in the industry.
I think there's a sense of positivity in the industry. I think what we see, the growth rate in the industry is great, and it's one of the fastest growing industries, and the demand is there. As I said, countries like India with the growth I see alone there is dramatically. And I think we will need that, especially with all the geopolitical challenges we have. I think aviation can help
Yeah.
to get people connected.
It's almost the challenge of meeting that demand.
Yeah.
It's the supply side,
it
isn't it? It's supply chain, people, and skills and talent. I mean, everyone's feeling it, I'm sure, and I'm sure you are. How are you coping with that?
I mean, it is right. It is very important to find the right partners.
Yeah.
So I think our supply chain is really behind us and believe in the product. Very collaborative. We are looking for solutions together. I think that's the benefit of a smaller company. We have that kind of agility to adapt faster to the market demands. And with our partnerships, we are doing a great job there.
Yeah. Look, time is up. I've kept you for too long from your potential clients out there. So, Nico, thanks for joining us again on ABN Gas and inviting us into the future.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.